Why does Paris continue to top every traveler's bucket list, even in 2025? Think about it. In a world of ever-changing trends, fast-moving travel fads, and Instagram hotspots that come and go, Paris remains eternal. Whether it's the soft shimmer of the Eiffel Tower at twilight, the smell of freshly baked croissants curling through a cobbled alleyway, or the quiet whisper of history echoing through the art-lined halls of the Louvre, Paris is more than a city, it's a feeling. It's the romance of a candlelit dinner by the Seine, the creative chaos of Montmartre, where Van Gogh once wandered, the fierce elegance of a Chanel runway during Paris Fashion Week. From revolutions to runways, from timeless art to modern love stories, Paris continues to reinvent itself while staying unmistakably Paris. And recently, the city has seen a revival like never before. With a post-pandemic cultural bloom, art tourism is surging. Boutique galleries, immersive exhibitions, open-air performances, they're transforming Paris into a living canvas. Not to mention, fashion lovers from around the world are pouring in, drawn by the city's iconic street style and bold new designers reshaping the couture capital. So what exactly makes Paris so irresistibly magnetic? And why do travelers again and again choose it over every other destination? Well, let's find out. But before we begin, this is like a free ticket. Just a like, subscribe, and a small comment helps bring the next video to you. Now pack your curiosity, because we're about to uncover the Paris you thought you knew, and the one you've never seen. If cities had souls, Paris would be an artist's brushstroke across the sky. Since the 19th century, Paris has drawn creatives like a magnet, painters, poets, musicians, and dreamers who saw the city not just as a place to live, but as a place to feel. Imagine standing at the base of Montmartre, where the cobbled streets rise gently toward the white domes of Sacré-Cœur. Now close your eyes and rewind time to when Picasso painted in dim-lit studios, and Toulouse-Lautrec sketched dancers from the smoky corners of the Moulin Rouge. Just down by the left bank, in the cafes of Saint-Germain-des-Prés, Ernest Hemingway once wrote, and Claude Monet captured the light of the Seine like no one else could. This wasn't just art. It was a revolution of beauty, and it happened right here. And today, that spirit is still alive. You'll see it inside the Louvre, where Da Vinci's Mona Lisa smiles mysteriously behind glass, and just across the river at the Musée d'Orsay, where impressionists like Van Gogh and Degas paint Paris in shades of soul and sunlight. Two museums, two worlds. One steeped in royal grandeur, the other in rebellious brushstrokes. But the story doesn't stop inside galleries. Paris breathes art in the open. Walk through Belleville and Canal Saint-Martin, and you'll see modern murals climbing the walls. A new generation of Parisian artists painting the city in bold colors and provocative ideas. Peek inside a hidden atelier, a working artist's studio, and you might just witness the next masterpiece being born. This is not a frozen city in a museum. It's a living, breathing canvas. One where classical art and contemporary expression meet on every street corner. So whether you're an art history buff or someone who just loves beautiful things, Paris doesn't just show you art. It invites you to be a part of it. If art is Paris's soul, fashion is its heartbeat. Nowhere else in the world does style feel so effortless, so natural, so Parisian. You see, Paris isn't just a fashion capital. It's the fashion capital. From the moment Coco Chanel redefined women's elegance with her little black dress, to the rise of Christian Dior's new look, that revolutionized post-war femininity, to Louis Vuitton, whose luxury luggage is now a global symbol of status, Paris set the rules of fashion, and then broke them beautifully. And twice a year the world turns its gaze to one runway, Paris Fashion Week. Here, under the chandeliers of the Grand Palais, or in minimalist converted warehouses, designers don't just debut clothes, they forecast culture. What you'll wear next spring. It probably walked a Paris runway this week. But don't think fashion here is only about elite catwalks and designer price tags. To truly understand Parisian style, you need to walk the streets. Head to Le Marais, where indie boutiques sit beside vintage shops, and trendsetters sip espresso while scrolling for inspiration, or being it. Or explore Saint-Germain-des-Prés, where luxury meets literary chic, where scarves are worn like poetry and sunglasses tell stories. There's a saying here, Parisians don't follow fashion. They are fashion. It's true. You'll spot a woman in a simple trench coat, cigarette pants, and ballet flats, and somehow she looks like she stepped off a Vogue shoot. It's not about flashy labels. It's about confidence, restraint, and an unspoken elegance that says, I didn't try too hard, and that's the point. And maybe that's what makes Paris so captivating. It doesn't just sell you style, it teaches you how to live it. Some cities are beautiful, but Paris is in love with love. It's the way the Seine River curves through the heart of the city, like a ribbon tying past and present into one eternal kiss. Stroll along its banks and you'll see lovers with locked fingers, bookstalls whispering stories of poets and painters, and street musicians turning bridges into ballads. And then there's Pont des Arts, once famous for its love locks. Thousands of couples sealed their promises with a padlock and tossed the key into the river below. Though the locks are now gone for safety, the romance remains, etched into the bridge's legacy. Of course, no romantic journey through Paris is complete without a stop at the Eiffel Tower. Yes, it's a tourist hotspot. Yes, it's in a million selfies. But when it lights up at night, sparkling for 5 magical minutes every hour, you understand something. Clichés exist because they're true. Now let me take you somewhere quieter, more intimate. Climb the winding streets of Montmartre, where gas lamps still glow and cobblestones echo with history. Here, among ivy-covered walls and secret stairways, you'll find hidden gardens and candle-lit cafes where time slows down. Want something even more off the beaten path? Try the Square de Vert Galant, a tiny island oasis at the tip of Ile de la Cité. It feels like Paris's best-kept secret, floating gently between river and sky. Or wander down Rue Crème, a pastel-painted street that looks like a romantic film set, charming, quiet, and impossibly photogenic. And if you're thinking about proposing or celebrating a love story, there are few places more cinematic. A sunset picnic under the Eiffel Tower, a moonlit river cruise with champagne in hand, or a private view of the city from Parc de Belleville, where the skyline glows and the crowds disappear. Paris doesn't just host romance, it creates it. If Paris had a soundtrack, it wouldn't be just music. It would be the crack of a fresh baguette, the clink of tiny coffee cups, and the soft laughter of friends gathered over wine. Food in Paris is more than nourishment. It's ritual, it's rhythm, it's identity. Mornings begin at the Boulangerie, where locals line up not just for breakfast, but for tradition. A buttery croissant, still warm, a pain au chocolate, flaking with every bite. These aren't just pastries. They're part of what makes waking up in Paris feel like an event. Then come the cafes. Not the tourist traps with neon signs, but the ones with wicker chairs facing the street. Because in Paris, people watching is practically a sport. Grab a noisette and let time slow down. Afternoons drift into picnics at the Jardin du Luxembourg, with cheese, charcuterie, and a bottle of something red. Locals sprawl on the grass, books in hand, lovers side by side, and even the pigeons seem to respect the serenity. But beyond the baguette and brie, Parisian cuisine is bold, historic, and sometimes surprising. Ever tried escargot, tender snails in garlic butter? Or coq au vin, where chicken is slowly braised in wine till it falls apart with a sigh? And let's not forget the sweet symphony of macarons, the caramel crackle of a perfect crème brûlée, or the flaky perfection of a tart tatin. Now, here's the secret. Don't eat where the guidebooks tell you. Instead, ask a local where they go after work. Head to a tucked-away bistro in the Latin Quarter, or a family-run brasserie near Canal Saint-Martin. Look for chalkboard menus, no English translations, and always smell the air. In Paris, food isn't just consumed. It's appreciated. Every meal a conversation. Every bite a small celebration of life. So don't just eat in Paris, dine, savor, experience. Because once you've tasted the real Paris, fast food will never taste the same again. If you really want to know Paris, don't just look at the landmarks. Look at the rhythm. A Parisian day isn't rushed. It flows from morning markets to afternoon espresso breaks, to sunset strolls along the Seine. Here work begins a little later. Lunch isn't eaten at desks. And around 4 p.m. cafes fill with people taking a pause, not checking the clock. It's not laziness. It's balance, a cultural belief that life should be lived, not just scheduled. Art isn't something you only find in museums. It's in the book someone's reading on the metro, the gallery tucked between 2 bakeries, the street musician echoing Vivaldi near Saint Michel. This deep appreciation for beauty, for reflection, for everyday charm, is what gives Paris its signature elegance. But to truly enjoy it, you have to know a few cultural do's and don'ts. Let's start with the golden rule. Always greet with bonjour whether you're entering a shop, speaking to a waiter, or asking for directions. Politeness isn't optional in Paris. It's expected and respected. Don't speak too loudly in public. Parisians value subtlety and space. Avoid snapping photos of people without permission, especially at cafes. And never rush a meal. That's practically sacrilegious. Now, let's talk language. Parisians are proud, fiercely proud of their language. And while many do speak English, a simple bonjour, excusez-moi can open doors faster than fluent French ever will. It shows respect, and Parisians respond to that. Want to blend in, not stand out? Here's how. Dress smartly even when casual. Walk confidently, but don't push. Skip the large backpacks and maybe put away the selfie stick. Buy your baguette like a local. Take your coffee at the bar instead of the terrace. Read the newspaper even if you don't understand a word. Because when you embrace the quiet rituals, when you match the pace, when you let go of the checklist and live the experience, that's when Paris stops being a postcard and starts becoming a part of you. Isn't a city you visit. It's a city you move through, and the way you move changes the way you see it. Now, if you want to navigate like a local, forget taxis and tour buses. The metro is your best friend. With over 300 stations and 16 color-coded lines, the Paris metro is fast, efficient, and honestly, kind of charming in its own way. There's something magical about hearing the soft whoosh of the train, the classical music echoing through underground tunnels, and emerging in a completely different arrondissement in just minutes. Tip: grab a Navigo pass for unlimited rides, way cheaper than individual tickets if you're staying a few days. But the real magic, it's above ground. On foot, Paris is one of the most walkable cities on earth. Each step reveals something new: a street artist sketching portraits, a hidden courtyard, a sudden view of the Eiffel Tower between rooftops. Want scenic walking routes? Try the Promenade Plantée, an old elevated railway turned into a garden path. Or wander along the Canal Saint-Martin, where locals sip wine on the water's edge. Get lost in the Latin Quarter, where every corner feels like a poem. Now, where should you stay? That depends on your vibe. If you're into art, charm, and village feels, Montmartre is for you. Love boutique shopping and hidden galleries? Go for Le Marais. First-time visitor wanting to stay central and scenic? Try Saint-Germain-des-Prés or the first arrondissement, close to the Louvre. Want a younger, edgier feel? Explore Canal Saint-Martin or Belleville. And for solo travelers, here's the good news: Paris is safe, especially in the daytime and in well-populated areas. Just follow basic urban common sense, watch your belongings, avoid empty alleys at night, and trust your instincts. Whether you're gliding through the metro or wandering without a map, Paris reveals itself best to those who slow down and explore. So lace up your shoes, buy a metro ticket, and let the rhythm of the city set your pace. Let's talk money. Paris has a reputation, a glamorous, glittering one. But does it have to break the bank? Not at all. Let's start with the basics. Airfare from the USA or UK to Paris varies, of course, but thanks to budget airlines and off-season deals, you can often find round-trip flights from New York or London for under $500 if you book smart and early. Accommodation. Luxury hotels like the Ritz or Hotel Plaza Athénée can cost thousands per night, but charming boutique hotels and Airbnbs in local neighborhoods often range from $100, $200 a night, especially outside peak tourist months. Better yet, try aparthotels or hostels with private rooms for even better value. Local transport, incredibly affordable. A Navigo Week Pass gives you unlimited access to metro, buses, and RER trains for just around €30, perfect for travelers staying 4-7 days. Eating well on a budget, absolutely possible. Grab a fresh baguette, cheese, and fruit from a local market, and voila, a perfect Parisian picnic. Bistros and cafes offer pre-fixed lunch menus for €12, €18, giving you 2 to 3 gourmet courses without the gourmet price tag. But if you're dreaming of fine dining, Paris delivers that too. You can splurge on a Michelin star meal at Septime or Le Meurice and create a memory for a lifetime. Or sip champagne on a Seine dinner cruise as the Eiffel Tower sparkles beside you. For sightseeing, the Paris Museum Pass is a smart traveler's hack. For one flat fee, you get access to over 50 museums and monuments, including the Louvre Musée d'Orsay, Sainte-Chapelle, and even Versailles. And yes, you skip most lines. And here's another secret. Many top museums are free on the first Sunday of every month. So is Paris expensive? It can be. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Whether you're backpacking on a budget or living out your luxury fantasy, Paris rewards every kind of traveler. Because here, it's not about how much you spend. It's about what you experience, as magical as Paris is. Sometimes the best way to appreciate it is to step just outside it. The beauty of Paris isn't just in its boulevards and bridges. It's in how easily you can escape the city and unlock an entirely different world, all in a single day. Let's start with the most regal of them all. Versailles, just a 40-minute train ride from central Paris, and you're walking through the gilded Hall of Mirrors, surrounded by stories of kings, queens, and revolutions. The palace itself is stunning, but don't miss the gardens, especially if the fountains are dancing to classical music. Love Impressionist art? Head to Giverny, where Claude Monet's home and gardens feel like stepping into one of his paintings. The water lilies, the green Japanese bridge, the pastel shutters, it's all real. And it's just over an hour away. Traveling with kids or just a kid at heart, Disneyland Paris is a direct train away. Smaller than its American cousins, but full of that classic Disney magic with a French twist. Craving something more adult? How about wine tasting in Champagne? Yes, the actual region where Champagne was born. You can tour underground cellars, sip from century-old reserves, and still be back in Paris by dinner. Or escape to the Loire Valley with its fairy tale chateau, rolling vineyards, and peaceful riverside villages. It's perfect if you want a break from the city buzz without losing the beauty. Now here's what you need to know. Trains are your best option, especially the SNCF regional and high-speed TGV lines. Tickets are affordable, and booking online in advance can save you both time and euros. Plan for half-day or full-day trips, depending on how far you're going. Versailles and Giverny, easy half-day. Champagne and Loire Valley, give them a full day and maybe pack a corkscrew. Pro tip: start early, check return train times, and always leave a little room for spontaneity. Because whether you're wandering royal halls, sipping world-class wine, or chasing childhood dreams, Paris doesn't stop at its borders. It expands into unforgettable escapes. So, is Paris still magical? Is the romance real, or just the result of a century of clever marketing? Well, after walking its sunlit avenues, sipping coffee in its quiet corners, getting lost in its art, its stories, its flavors, it becomes clear Paris doesn't need marketing. Its magic is real because it's felt, in the hush of the Louvre at dusk, in the sparkle of the Eiffel Tower at midnight, in the simple pleasure of a croissant shared on a park bench as the city hums gently around you. Paris is timeless, not because it refuses to change, but because it evolves gracefully, unapologetically, while still holding tight to its soul. Whether you're chasing beauty, romance, or inspiration, or maybe just a great bottle of wine, Paris has something to offer you. So here are a few final travel tips before you go. Pack light, but leave room for vintage finds and maybe a few extra macarons. Walk often, the real city lies between the landmarks. Learn a few French phrases not just to be polite, but to unlock smiles and stories. And finally, don't rush. Let Paris unfold at her own pace. Because the real magic of this city, it doesn't just come from what you see. It comes from how it makes you feel. Now it's your turn. Would you visit Paris for the art, the love, or the fashion? What's your dream Paris moment? Sipping wine under the Eiffel Tower, or wandering through Montmartre at sunrise? Drop your answer in the comments below. We read everyone. And if this journey made you dream, smile, or wander just a little, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a fellow traveler. Your support helps bring the next adventure to life, and we've got plenty more to explore. Merci, and see you in the next city.